Welcome to Season 2 of Why Your Business is Invisible Online. This season, we focus on the dramatic change artificial intelligence is having on your online visibility. Joining me are my two co-hosts, and here they are.
Hi, this is Jim Filatico. I'm currently obsessed with planning my next beach adventure for my whole family.
Hi, I'm Kelly Biggs. We're talking about AI this season. I'm wondering, can I get an AI agent to clean my house?
And I'm your host, John Manatis, still glued to my guitar, but with my new band planning our next tour. Okay, that's cool. That's a cool segue into what I want to talk about next. And I want to talk about how AI has impacted the way you do things, like your business. Have you created things? Have you used AI to make things quicker for you? Have you content for sure? I think we've all used AI to improve content, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do that now. And we all know that Google is looking at any content and trying to discern how much of it's done by AI, how much of it is done by the human. That's the human part of the our tagline. There's not a thing that I've ever generated on AI that didn't require my human touch. Like I never took it straight out of the box and said, "Oh yeah, AI nailed this perfectly. I'm just going to use it exactly as is." I've tinkered with everything. That's okay. That's a bit of me too. That's who I am. But I'm sure you guys too.
A bit.
A tiny bit, just a little.
Yeah. Does Grammarly count?
Grammarly. I love Grammarly.
Well, if it wasn't for Grammarly, I would not be where I am because
no.
Yeah, it all counts. Visuals, like I mean, Kelly's using it for all our thumbnails. But there's a lot of things I'm sure you guys use AI for to save you time and therefore open up time to look at other things like your clients more competitively in the competitive landscape, be more strategic, etc. I'd love to hear about how your world has changed personally because of AI.
I'll go back to, because the thing is, it's important as people are thinking about, because everybody that's listening to us is obviously not a digital marketer. No. So I'll go back to my vending machine business and tell you how I use it. So for my personal business, actually, I will say I use it more to things that I have to do over and over again repetitively. I'll use it for big projects, but it's not going to save me any time, really, honestly. It helps me to find information more readily. But I'm still, if I'm doing something that requires a lot of research, I've clocked it, like to write a blog, I still use the exact same amount of time, but the quality has improved.
Okay. How about for brainstorming ideas? Is it good for that?
Yeah, it's good for the brainstorming, but it's still, I'm not saving necessarily any time. It's basically like I got a friend next to me and I'm like, hey, here's what I'm trying to do. Try this. Oh, no, that's stupid. Try this. No, that's still stupid. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
And I can call it stupid and it'll be okay. But however, there is a whole empathy thing and we can talk to, maybe when Seamus comes on, that'll be interesting to talk to him about this.
Oh, absolutely. Seamus is one of our WSI experts that we're going to be bringing on in future episodes.
Got the vending machines. And so month number 1 is 5 different machines. And so what's very funny is that they each end up having their own personality, right? So depending on just demographics, different people like
absolutely.
Like at this one shop, I can't keep flaming Cheetos there.
Right, one person.
Yeah. At another one, like they're very drink heavy, just all of that. So, and then I have all these tons of transactions, right? That I have. So, and as you know, it's pretty good with data. I want to optimize because I have 2 sitting beside each other because they have the right volume. But obviously, if I have 2 sitting beside each other, I want it to make sense. I want it to be diverse as possible.
Yeah, right? you want it optimized.
So, yeah. And so took the data and I was like, here are all the products that I sell. Here are the latest sales for each machine. And then I had to, this one took longer than I expected, but I had to tell them, okay, in the first row, there's 6 different rows. In the first row, you can take chips I told them all the things it could take, but it cannot take things that have to sit flat. Like it can't take noodles. Things, by the way, love them. Anyway, so it can't take noodles, can't take anything that lays flat. Anyway, gave it all these rules. And I was like, that being said, optimize these two machines for me. Like what should be in each machine, in each row, in each day. And so it came back and it spit some things out. It probably took me, I'm going to say it took me about 3 hours to get this done. But just think about if you as a human had to go through and do it,
Doing
and
the
you're
math.
guessing and da 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 da.
So it did save you some time for sure.
It did save me some time. Yeah. But it's not like when I say save time, some people think, okay, I'm going to click a button and it's going to give me the answer. It's not that. That's the human in the middle, right? I have to have the knowledge to
an answer.
It give you an answer.
I had to give you the answer.
And then it would say something. I'm like, no, I told you Danish can only go here.
Yeah.
Why are you putting anyway? So
yes, it does require corrections. Yes, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had an uplift of I would say 20%. Because because of what it was able to do is to say people love dots, pretzels. People love like all the things that people love. And so maybe based on the sales, maybe you want dots, pretzels in both of the machines. Maybe you want, we're not sure, you got the same number for Lay's regular and Lay's barbecue. Let's put one in one machine and one in the other. So it like laid it out very beautifully. So next I need to do, because the other three are in different locations.
Right.
Next, I want to do just like a baseline of, I have 3 other machines that I need to bring on board. And now I'll take that and say, what's the baseline? Just based on these, all the sales, what's a good configurations to start out with.
Right.
But then give me the optimized for these other 3 based on their historical sales. Again, if somebody came to me and said, hey, I can put AI in, I can help you use AI. Well, you don't even know what problem I'm trying to solve. Tell me what I'm trying, like, you don't know. You don't know. So that's why I say you have to be, you want to think about where could I use this the most today? And obviously if I can affect my bottom line, make it easier. We even have a process of, we've created a process of, okay, when should I order this, and what things should I order every 2 weeks, regardless, so I'm never out of inventory.
Yeah, we can help with that too. It's neat how you did. You basically did what we did for years in digital with A/B testing, and for example, social media. We test 2 ads and see which does better. And because you had the 2 side by side, the 2 vending machines right next to each other, you sort of did an A/B test and then told it to optimize based on the results. So that's pretty cool. Love it. Any other things it's caused you? Like, for example, your content production. Are you guys like, I use it a lot for content.
How do you use it?
Basically, I describe the problem a lot. So I spend a lot of time setting the table for AI. I find I get best results when I put in a long prompt and I think about it from all angles and I give it to AI. Mind you, I still have to correct it here and there afterwards. But what it spits out initially is actually quite good. But then you have to read it and understanding my client. It doesn't know my client. So this is where the human part comes in. And I literally have to go in and either ask it a few more questions to fine tune it for me, or I have to go in and make the changes. Because if it's 90, whatever, let's say it's 98% there, it just requires a few tweaks from me, and then I can move it straight into sending it to the client, and then the client add their feedback before it goes live. But most of the time, I'm finding I do have to go a few rounds with the AI tool, saying, well, how about thinking about it this way, or how about thinking about it this way? One of the things I do a lot, I don't know if you guys have found this, is it tends, unless I give it explicit instructions, it tends to spit out paragraphs. And I'm finding now, not only Google, but I think AI tools, I don't know for sure, but I think AI tools prefer succinct, straight to the point answers. Don't blather on too long. Because we know traditionally with SEO, we would hear from our from our suppliers and vendors. They would say, "Oh no, you need 1,000 words. That's not enough words on the page. Google's never going to give you the respect you want and the authority you want unless you have a lot of words." And I think that's changing a lot now. I think you want to be succinct. You want to be more bullets, more user friendly in your
I think,
approach in terms of how it
yeah.
looks, easy to read, easy to understand.
I think
But that's just my opinion, though.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm not an expert, so
yeah,
I want to hear from you
Yeah.
guys.
yeah. No, I
What's your
think,
experience?
yeah, Jim, I'm very curious to you. I think both things are true.
Mhm.
And I'll give you something that may be anecdotal. I knew somebody who was looking for a job for a
Mhm.
specific company,
Okay.
and they took it to AI, not
Mhm.
Google.
Okay.
Um, and they're like looking for this job working with this company, and the company was pretty big, so I don't think if they wanted to come work for WSI, this would work. But looking to work for this company, and I heard the interview process was pretty intense. Like, what
Mhm.
do I need to know? And so, sure enough, it's like
Yeah.
almost like a whole page that they saw. But one piece of content, one source kept coming from the same piece of content. And
Mhm.
so when they went and looked into that piece of content, it was a very long article, but it had answered specific questions throughout that article, right?
Mhm.
And so then what's even crazier, the person was like, well, I'm not even going to figure this out. This person is a consultant and helps people get a job with that particular company, with that particular,
Mhm.
and the person had written it. I was looking at at the bottom. So here's a cue, update your websites to say every year, just update it to say the current year.
Yeah.
But it was like 3 years ago that they had written this content, but the content was so thorough and so good, it answered so many questions. So yes, I think they were looking to answer this one specific question, feed you a
Mhm.
snippet. But the point of the content, you can't just go to your website and put up one answer, right? So there's schemas and stuff that you can fit into it. I think you always I just don't think you can go wrong writing helpful content. I
Yes.
don't I
Agree.
don't think that
Agree.
that will ever go away.
I would agree.
Jim, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Then we're agreed.
Yeah.
Jim, your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I can say what one of the opportunities that I've taken advantage of is I use a thing called Descript.
Okay.
And so
Mhm.
one of my
So what's
clients,
Descript and why would you do it?
Descript is well, what I use it for is I take a video. It will give me the transcript of the video, and then I can take that transcript and use that however I choose,
Oh,
basically.
nice. Okay. Oh, cool.
So I have a client that has been doing videos recently and wants to create social posts, wants to get it
Mhm.
online because we've learned that video is really more and more popular for search.
Yeah.
Google has gone from just searching for words and for articles and blogs to images and videos and all those kind of things. That's why YouTube's now showing up, on the first page and those kind of things. Anyway,
Also, it might have something to do with the fact that they
well, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
But so I use it. I take the video, put it in Descript. It gives me the transcript, and then from there you can do several things. You can create a social post. You can do different things, and ideate. So that way I can take what they suggest as a social post. I tweak it, change it, make it more relevant to the location of the business and those kind of things, and then use that as a social post. Take the video and then add the wording around the social post. So that's just one way I use it. It definitely helps. It helps you kind of get the creative juices flowing, and it does, like we said, repetitive tasks or things that I couldn't do a transcript. You know what I mean? So
Of course.
it's
Yeah.
something that's not directly like using ChatGPT, but it's where people have incorporated now AI into their platform, into
Mhm.
whatever they do. Zoom does it now. I mean, everybody is incorporating AI into what they do. HubSpot, everybody Constant Contact. I mean, there's so many different tools that we use that incorporate it where it can help you and just kind of get things going. It again, never cut and paste, but at least it's there to help. And the transcript thing is, to me, is huge. So that way I'm not watching a video and trying to write notes on what was the
That's
high
right.
points of it.
Mhm.
So that's one of the reasons, or one of the things I use it for.
Yeah. So as a general rule now, though, are you guys I want to know the answer to this, but I don't know. I don't know if there is an answer yet. It may evolve over the next few months. But as a general rule, are you guys, when you're thinking about how you present content, are you being more succinct? Are you sprinkling, some paragraphs, some bullet point sections? Obviously, lots of headings that make each section distinct and clear. Has AI forced you to change your style? It has for me. Like I'm much more succinct now. I'll take a paragraph and try to make it a sentence, or a sentence and a couple of bullets. I'll still leave paragraphs when I think a paragraph is necessary, but I'm much more cognizant of the user experience than I ever was before. Before I was just, paragraphs are fine. 3 or 4 paragraphs in a row, no problem. I don't have to break it up with a few sections with bullets. Especially on a website. I'm much more cognizant when I'm building websites not to have, too many words together, cluttering up the space. I like white space in all my websites. I don't like clutter in general. I'm just telling you my experience, but I don't know if we know enough about how not only Google is now reacting to things, because Google's in the AI game too, plus the AI tools. How are they going to take my clients and their content and elevate them to the top of their answers in AI? That's the biggest challenge going forward, right? You want Perplexity and ChatGPT. When my HVAC companies, what was the best HVAC company in Oakville? I want it to be my company. Well, a lot of the reasons why it's going to end up there will be how we create content and how we present it. And so I don't know what the best practices are yet. I think we're learning every day. But have you guys come up with any new rules for yourselves in terms of your clients and how you present content, so that not only Google continues to put your clients at the top, but Perplexity does too, and ChatGPT does, and then Claude does, etc. Long question, but it's a big one for us because we're all about being found online now,
Right.
and online
We're going to talk about it obviously in the
in
next
future. Yeah.
in the future episodes, but overarching, I think, is being found online is an evolution, right? Things have changed through the years on Google, mostly Google. Like I said before, 98% of the people started a search on Google for answering questions. So you had to cater to Google. And so as they changed their algorithms, as they updated and tried to become smarter and more important for their searchers, same thing is happening now, where, and we're going to talk about it, like I said, in depth, but Google now is trying to answer the questions without any clicks, without going to your website.
Let's talk about that, zero click. And let's explain to the folks listening what we mean by zero click, because it's an important topic.
I think one of the examples that WSI used when they were doing training for us is, what are the top 10 best things to do in Atlanta?
Okay.
And so it would just line list the 10 things. And it didn't necessarily give you the websites. It didn't at the beginning. It didn't do that, or it would just line list them. So that thing is happening, where if you have a question and you just need an answer, it doesn't serve up the website. It just gives you the answer. And people are happy with that. Searchers are happy with that because ultimately they're spending less time having to find the answer.
Right.
And that's Google's whole thing. But for our clients, it's not always good.
Right.
So
what you're finding, I don't know about you guys, but I'm just going to add to your point, Jim. My clients, they've complained about this to me. They've said, hold on a sec, I'm paying you guys to get me to page 1. I get it. But now I'm at the bottom of page 1. First there's this map thing at the top. Then there's this box with other names on it at the top. Then there's this sponsored area. And then there's an actual answer to the question. And then a whole list of questions being answered after that. And then I do find myself finally but it's really near. I had to scroll down a little bit to find the name of my company, and they're not too happy about that. So again, I
Is it, I'll say that that's SEO. I don't think that's as true for local search. Local
Mhm.
search is if I'm looking for this, the map pack is still remaining pretty high,
That's
even
high.
if
Yeah.
it do give you the answer. So I
Mhm.
think that people might have to change. If we're just talking about Google search in general, I think local is going to be the winner, at least in the short term.
Mhm.
And even if that means you have to have more local sites. I know, Jim, you do this for many of your clients where, okay, let's have 50 different different
Landing
URLs,
pages. Yeah.
you right,
Yeah.
for the locations. I think that that's a quick solve.
Mhm.
Because for local, Google still understands that if I want the best pizza in town, I don't want you to pontificate and give me. I don't want to read about an article about why it's the best. I just want to freaking place an order to
Mhm.
the
Yep.
best one, right? So I think that's just my thought that
Mhm.
it all depends on what you're trying to show up for. But your question was also
Well,
about
it's around zero click.
content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's about
content and zero
content.
click, and how you guys are dealing with it now. Because sorry, Jim, I cut you off. You were just telling us a little bit about how you're dealing with this whole
Well, I mean,
zero
first of
click.
all, there's two things that are happening. One, they're not being found, right? They're not being clicked on. But
Mhm.
that is you could argue is how many people go to the website is kind of a vanity number, right? You
Yeah,
could
Mhm.
have thousands of people going to the
exactly
website, but
right.
if they're not converting,
That's
Right,
what good
it
is
doesn't
it,
exactly
matter.
right.
right?
Yeah,
So
I,
and
yeah,
if they're not the right people, right? You want people
yeah, right,
who are really there for, not just to browse, but
and
they're
right,
and I think, Jim, your strategy changes then too, right? So you don't care about
right,
necessarily, like, let's just talk about our own businesses. But
Mhm.
if I'm a digital marketing agency supporting manufacturers, right?
Mhm.
Um, do I care that somebody wants to know about? Give me a list of all the digital marketers in Sandy Springs. Maybe, but they're probably at the very top of the funnel.
yeah,
Otherwise, if it's like I need a good content strategy for my manufacturing, or my manufacturing page looks like a directory or a catalog. If I could have content that matches that intent and they land on my page, to Jim's point, is they're going to be one lower in the funnel.
Mhm.
And when I get them there, I better be able to convert
right,
because their intent is going to be much higher. So
Mhm.
exactly agree with you, Jim. It's a
yeah,
vanity metric of
yeah. And
traffic.
the other thing that's
Mhm.
happening is we're all learning as the world is learning how to actually search. It
Right.
used
Yeah,
to be, I mean, you would type in words that
yeah,
sounded like a robot, right?
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Restaurant, pizza,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in a town,
Mhm.
and then you expect them to understand what the hell you're saying,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then give you the best pizza,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
or whatever. But now people are, first of all, they're using their phones to talk and do
Yes. A
search,
lot more.
right?
Yeah.
voice
So now
search.
it's more conversational. It used to be very, it was like a monologue, and
Mhm.
now it's more conversational. And we've talked about this.
Mhm.
So because of that, you're searching with more words when you're doing a search, and especially now with AI. And this is intriguing to me. When you go do a Google search, you type in 3 or 4 words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you expect to find something. But now when you go to AI and you do a similar query, you're
Yep.
putting in paragraphs.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's forcing you to do that
Mhm.
in a way. You know what I mean? It's like, well, why do I have to take that much time to do it? Well, it's probably because they're saying that, this is as dumb as it's ever going to be, and it's only going to get smarter, right? It's going to learn that you like pizza. When you
Mhm.
say restaurant, you really mean pizza, right? And
All
so when you
right.
say find a restaurant near me that has coupons, the first thing they're going to serve up is a pizza place, right?
Yeah.
Because they know you like pizza. But it's learning you now. And that's going to be the way of the future. That's what's happening at this point, but it's going to change. So I'm saying I'm talking too much about it, but
No,
basically,
it's
people are
important.
using more words now with AI to search for things to get an answer to their question or their concern or their problem, whatever it is. And so that I think is going to kind of come back full circle to Google, that they're going to start to type in more information to get the answer. And so now it's going to be, like Kelly said, further down the funnel.
Right. It's
because
higher
they're
intent.
going to give it more context.
Right.
So as we give it more context, we need to make sure as digital marketers that that context is taken into consideration when we do SEO, when we do ads, when we do whatever we do social media. We don't care about the vanity numbers of clicks as much as we do answering that question, solving that problem, and getting someone to convert. And so that is what's, to me, AI has definitely forced that issue, but that's what's changing is just how we interact with our cell phones day in, day out, hours and hours at a time, and how we're doing it, because that is how we've been taught how to do it, and now we're almost teaching it how to, what to expect. And so that's what we're having to lean into, is how to do what we do to make sure that our clients show up based on what's important to them. And it's adding business.
Exactly. It sounds like, I mean, you guys have said it before, long tail keywords are really much more important than ever before. If everybody's using AI from a content perspective, then everything begins to sound AI-ish, and therefore all of us now have to step it up to a different level so that we sound different for our clients. So what are maybe perhaps some of the new techniques that you guys are thinking about, or even putting in place?
Implementing. I have a good example. I've been really pleased about the content that I've been able to put out. Like, that was something I would outsource, and for the most part, I'm doing it in house now. And the way that I'm doing it in house is myself and AI. In this regard, one, I really have conversations with my clients about who are we trying to get to buy, because it changes from time to time, and what is unique about the way you offer the product to the person, and or like, why is it important, like what are they trying to solve for, what are the questions, that kind of thing. And so rather than then go into, oh, I need to create a blog post, it might be different types of content, right? So then I train my GPT, and we'll get into this more, but I train it to say that I'm an expert content writer, right? Meaning maybe a blog is right, but maybe it's a FAQ schema, and maybe it's a PR article that I want to post, right? So we're changing the way that we're doing content so that I'm not like every other accounting firm.
Right.
And I even have multiple accounting firms. You would not be able to tell that the same person wrote for any of my accounting firms. Like, to a certain extent, we don't go beyond what the IRS says you can do. We don't give tax advice to anybody. But every one of my accounting clients are trying to reach a different audience, right? And so then, what does that audience care about? And how do we do a hub and spoke article for that? And so, and the things about it is the things that give me a bit of relief from a standpoint, can I keep my day job, is that somebody else, it would take them years to get to some of the things that we know need to take place to be really good. And I've written articles. I was just looking at a SEMrush report today, where I wrote an article about one thing for a client, and they moved up 9 positions on the page.
Okay.
To your point, Jim, like, does that mean where on the page are they?
Yeah,
true. Fair enough.
But still, they still moved up 9 pages, which was unheard of before. Right? You couldn't do it. And so I'm encouraged, honestly, with the human in the middle, like we talked about, embrace digital, stay human,
Right.
with a human that has the expert knowledge that you need them to have, you can, I think, conquer the world now. But if you take some junior person off the street and say, go write me 50 blogs, good luck.
But exactly,
Right.
it'll all sound the same. You know, like every other company in that field, every other accounting firm, for example, in that field. So okay, so you're saying, Kelly, if I'm hearing you correctly, that Google has adjusted already. It's figured it out. In other words, it knows how to separate the AI, Pablum.
I don't necessarily think that that's true.
Well,
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
it recognized your article. It moved you up 9 points.
But it's
I
about
think
EEAT, right? I mean, we talk
Right,
about that.
it's EAT. That's exactly right.
It's helpful content. Okay.
Yeah, it's
You're
helpful.
showing your authority, you're an expert, all those kind of things. So
Got it. Okay.
that's what it's all about.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's how they're able to differentiate, because when it seems really generic, it is really generic.
Well, I think it's going to be pretty easy for Google to say, well, I get all this content in whatever this industry, and it all sounds the same. And then suddenly I see an article like Kelly's. Oh, this one's different, and it's presented differently, and it's targeted, and it's really helpful. Yeah, the helpful part is never going to go away. I agree.
Yep.
Okay, that's fantastic, guys. Well, just again, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So on that note, guys, I mean, I thought this was a good sort of general, and it gives our audience a general understanding of a lot of the issues that are out there and ideas that we're going to have to tackle throughout this season. And we're going to go deep dive on a lot of these because they're that important. This was enough of a general discussion, so it gives you a sense of where we're headed. And I hope you're just as excited as the rest of us are about this season. We are, because honestly, we're constantly evolving. To Kelly's point, that's the fun part of what we do. Constantly having to look at these challenges in the face and conquering them, and then we're pretty good at that. So on that note, let's call this a wrap. Thank you for tuning in to Why Your Business is Invisible Online. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do us a favor and subscribe and follow us on Spotify and Apple. Be sure to share it with other business owners who might find it helpful. If you want to dig deeper, contact us at ruinvisibleonline.com. That's capital letter R, capital letter U, followed by invisibleonline.com. Or message us on our LinkedIn business profile with the same title, Are You Invisible Online? The information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and may or may not reflect the official policy or position of WSI Corporate. Always consult a qualified digital marketing expert before making significant changes to your online strategy. Until next time, keep connecting with the people who matter most to your business and join us for our next episode.